before we do, all right. So appreciate everybody's time. We are starting time now. This is Eretmis Cyber Chat. We do this every Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. And tonight we are going to be discussing GRC interview questions. We are going to be looking at soft skills questions and then also technical questions. And really, the goal of us doing this is really to let you know the why behind the questions they are asking you, right? If you really get the concept of reasons behind or what they really want to find out by asking you certain type of questions, uh, you know, your work is done, right? Because if you know what they really want to know, then you are not going to, be giving them the wrong answers, thinking you are giving them the right answers, but they are not moving you forward, right? So kindly hold. We have a lot to discuss for tonight. We are just going to jump straight into the questions and answers, and your inputs are greatly appreciated as we are moving forward. So it's going to be an open discussion also as well, so you can give your inputs. We know there are a lot of folks on here who've gone through interviews and have landed their first security jobs or second ones already, so they have some really great insights to give everyone in here. So this is brought to you by Eretmis Academy. We are a cybersecurity institute based out of New York, and we do this every Friday night, like I said. And for all your cybersecurity training, all your cybersecurity needs in terms of training, you can look no further but look at Eretmis Academy. I'm Dr. Emmanuel Adu. I'm going to be your facilitator for tonight. I'm the only pilot for tonight. No co-pilots. Everybody on here is going to be my co-pilot because we are going to be discussing and asking questions, and you'll be giving your input. I'm a former United States Army captain. I'm the CEO of Eretmis Inc., a cybersecurity consulting firm, sister company of Eretmis Academy, and the founder of Eretmis Academy as well. Former professor at University of Maryland Global Campus and CTC, Central Texas College. And then also a member of the Forbes Technology Council as well. Appreciate everybody's time. Now for Eretmis Academy, we are partners with CompTIA. And what that means is that we have 20% discount on all CompTIA exams vouchers. And this is only with CompTIA. CompTIA is the only exams organization or institution that has the partnership with 20% discount. Other companies, they don't, like ISACA and ISC Square. They don't have anything like that, right? So the 20% discount, if you reach out to us, mostly you send us the voucher money without with the 20% off, and then we purchase on your behalf. We have a platform, so we purchase through the platform, and that is how we get the 20%. So it's not like they have a coupon that they give us for us to give you, right? So that is how that works. You shoot an email to David at Eretmis, and they'll take care of you, right? So, and then we also have your CEs, which is your continuous educational points. For you being here tonight for Cyber Chat, you get some continuous educational points. All you have to do is put hashtag Team Live in the chat and take a screenshot of it. That will count as one CE point that you can use to renew your certification. So for certifications, you can either choose to sit for the exams when they expire, which is every 3 years, or you can choose to use a number of continuous educational points or credits to be able to renew as well, right? Now, with that, we are going to move on. So we have a WhatsApp group also for Cyber Chat. We have one. Our main WhatsApp group is almost full. I think it's full. We have one for Cyber Chats that is purely just for Cyber Chats, and all Cyber Chats invitations and everything are posted in there. For our YouTube channel, we also encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everything that we do every Friday night is posted on our YouTube channel as well, so you can go in there and watch everything that you missed. Now, tomorrow we're having a graduation ceremony for our September 24 internship cohort. It's going to be tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern. We encourage you to come join us. Let's celebrate our interns for the hard work that they put into this for the past 2 to 3 months. They've been working really hard on different cybersecurity projects and GRC projects. So kindly come help us celebrate our interns. Now, what we are going to be discussing, we are going to be looking at soft skills, interview questions, and then technical questions as well. Last time we did this, we were able to look at some of the questions, but not all of it. And then also we were looking at some technicalities in terms of some of the roles for entry level, for intermediate level, and the rest. But tonight we are just purely going to look at questions. Right. Now with that, we will jump into cyber news. Now, if you have a cyber news for the week, you can kindly raise your virtual hand and we will give you the floor to, share your cyber news. But before everybody, gets on there, for tonight's cyber news is a little bit technical, right? But we're going to break it down for everybody to be able to understand. So the picture on here doesn't really say much, but you are going to understand why we have that picture on there. So openSSH, right? Anybody familiar with openSSH? So there's been a vulnerability found in openSSH for years, but fortunately there is a patch available now. Right now, the technical part of it is what we are going to break down. So the technical part of it, if I'm looking at this, I'm like, what is openSSH? Right? What is man in the middle attack? I mean, for patches, I think everybody on here should know what a patch is, or because we've all been doing updates on our phone and others. But the technical part of this is openSSH, man in the middle attack, right? What does that mean? And why is this in the news? And what does that mean to everybody else? Right. So anybody familiar with openSSH? Or we can just, if you're not familiar with openSSH, but you have some strong or some networking background, what is SSH?
Secure shell.
It's a protocol, secure shell protocol.
What is it used for?
It's for remote access.
Okay, so George said it's for remote access. Anybody else?
I said for communicating with others, transmitting information.
Okay, but you have to be more specific.
Is the secure way of remotely connecting to a device.
Okay,
So
so
with
keyword.
It's encryption.
Keyword that I heard over there is remote.
A remote connection using
kindly, so
TLS.
if we kindly raise your virtual hand, that way we're not talking over each other, right? So Augustine, please go ahead.
I said is a remote protocol for connecting to devices using TLS protocol. Is a secure way of connecting to a remote device.
Okay.
Instead of telnet.
Yes. So I mean, Augustine want to take us a bit deeper into the technical side. So telnet didn't even come in here, but thanks for bringing that up. Now, SSH is a protocol, one of the secure protocols that we use for remote. So keyword is remote access, right? So I can sit home and log into my company's network without being physically there, right? So what most of the work from home that we are doing now, and being able to have access to your company's resources without you being there, you are using some form of remote access, which for the secured versions, you're obviously going to be using whatever platform you are using. It is one way or the other using a protocol like SSH, right? Now, openSSH here is one of those products or those tools that is used for remote access. Now, they coined the name openSSH, so it's not. It could have been any name, right? But it's the name of the product, so it's like the name of the tool, right? So openSSH, but the name also kind of gives away really what it is being used for. So without you even hearing this before or knowing this tool, you can easily tell, okay, the openSSH, obviously SSH is for remote access, secure remote access, right? So this tool has been around, but then some researchers from Qualys, they found 2 vulnerabilities in here, and the vulnerabilities, they could lead to, or they led to, man-in-the-middle attack. Now, the next question is, what is a man-in-the-middle attack? Kindly raise your virtual hand if you want to give it a shot, or if you know the answer for sure. What is a man-in-the-middle attack? I think kindly give me a second. So, okay. Ian, please go ahead.
Man in the middle attack is essentially when during like the transferring of data between like 2 participants, there is one attacker who quite literally gets in the middle of the conversation secretly, and then takes the data from one participant, reaches over, and then sends the data to another one, essentially stealing data.
Okay. Yes. And I think there was another hand up. So mostly, like I always say in security, even if you don't really know something, you can most of the time get the meaning from the name, right? So man in the middle, like Ian rightly said, just sitting between 2 conversations, or like going on between 2 parties and just eavesdropping. So they are either going to grab the information, do something to it and forward it to the recipient, or they're just going to capture it, or eavesdrop on it, and then based on that they can do a whole, like they can hit you with a whole host of other forms of attacks, right? So man in the middle, meaning your confidentiality, and then thereby your integrity might also be affected, right? So these vulnerabilities that were found, they led to, or they can lead to, sensitive data exfiltration, right? And also session hijacking, because if they are intercepting your credentials, they're intercepting other information, they can use that for a whole, not like other host of attacks, right? So, but fortunately for us, there's been patches. There is a patch available now. So when this vulnerability was found, if a patch was not ready by now, what would have been the name of this vulnerability? Anyone? What type of vulnerability would this be? Mike, please go ahead.
Day.
Say that again, please.
0 day.
Yes. So any vulnerability found in a software, found in any product, and owners of that product or owners of that software, if they've not been able to come up with an update or a patch, it will be a 0 day vulnerability until patch is made, to take care of that vulnerability, right? So if patches were not available, this will still be a 0 day vulnerability, right? So just some technical little, basics here for us to refresh our memories. So with that, we are going to move on and get into the fun part, which is the questions, right? So before we move into the questions, our AI governance specialist course is still ongoing. Our next cohort is probably going to be tentatively end of March. So if you are looking to get into the AI governance space, we highly encourage you to get onto this one. Now, our cloud security, also a pretty fun class that is also going on. Our next cohort, tentatively March, ending of March, also starting a new cohort. So if you are planning to get anything cloud security, if you're already in the security field, this is the best cloud security out there. And folks in the cloud security, they've taken cloud security classes elsewhere, and they can tell you that for a fact, right? And then for folks who are looking to break into the cybersecurity space, we encourage you to jump onto our cybersecurity entry-level course. This course comes with everything, starts you from zero. No IT experience, trial, IT or cybersecurity experience needed. We take you from zero, build you up. Now, some folks will ask, do I need to know coding? This training the focus is on the blue side, which is the defensive side of security. right? On the defensive side, you don't necessarily need to know coding. On the red side, which is ethical hacking, the offensive side, you need to have a good working knowledge of cybersecurity. You need to have a good working knowledge in IT, and you need to know some coding to be able to, go off and do anything, penetration testing, and do it to the level where you can actually do that for work, right? So this course takes you through everything from zero, build you up in terms of knowledge, and then also we jump you into the internship where you actually get to work on some real world security projects, and then we help with job placement as well, right? And then for folks who are looking to jump onto a niche within the cybersecurity space, we encourage you to look into our PCI DSS or payment security course as well. The next cohort is starting tentatively 13th of February. And then for folks trying to get their hands dirty, working on some real world cybersecurity projects. So our interns graduating tomorrow, they went through this program. Come tomorrow and hear what they have to say about the program and what they've acquired over the period of 2.5 months. Right. So our next cohort for our internship is starting on March. And this year, we encourage you to, instead of just learning cybersecurity, do cybersecurity, right? By actually working on some real world projects. You can learn and learn and learn and learn. But if you've never done anything, if you've never worked on any projects, you've never worked on any projects. And it's going to show during your interviews, even if you get past the interview, what are you really going to do on the job, right? On the job, you are not going to talk your way out of doing the job. You have to actually do the job, right? And for our WhatsApp group, the link will be posted, so you can join our WhatsApp group for Cyber Chat, and then for our YouTube, you can also subscribe as well. And for tomorrow, kindly join us to celebrate our internship graduates, and it's going to be fun. Our graduations are always fun, and it's great to see how folks who join this program, and by the time they are done, the growth, right, in terms of all the projects that they've done, right? And there's a lot for them to talk about tomorrow. So kindly come help us celebrate our interns. Now we are jumping into the questions and the answers. So we are going to be looking at soft skills questions first, and then we will move into our technical questions as we move along. So let's start with the soft skills. Now, if you've been to interviews, you've had some questions that you thought were crazy or a bit hard for you to really answer. You can also bring those up as we are moving forward. So you can start writing them down, and then you can bring them up eventually when we give you the floor, right? So we are going to start with our very first question. And the very first question is, tell me about yourself and your cybersecurity experience. Or sometimes it's just tell me about yourself, right? What do you think? Just two people or three. Give your thoughts on how do you think we should approach this, or no, let me rephrase. What do you really think they are looking for when they say tell me about yourself? So look at it this way, for every question, there's kind of like a trick question to the question, right? So what are they really looking for when they ask you during an interview, tell me about yourself? Andy, please go ahead, and Ian will go after you.
Basically, they are trying to learn about how long you've been in the industry and your experience.
Okay.
What kind of experience you bring to the table, how familiar you are with the whole whatever the position is.
Okay. So yes, we'll go to Ian. Please go ahead, Ian.
They're also looking for basically a highlight reel of all of your greatest achievements.
Okay.
Essentially, to explain why you're best fit for the job.
Okay. And Geoffrey, please go ahead. Geoffrey, please go ahead. You are still muted. David?
Can
Okay.
you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. So this is a very good opportunity for you to tell them what makes you the best fit or a good fit for the position. And so all your experiences that align with the job description and the position should, be outlined in your response.
Okay, David, please go ahead.
Yeah, basically they are trying to find out, or they want to give them a summary of your experiences, your achievements, and how the job fit, you fit into the job description and all that. So it's basically like a summary of what you've been able to accomplish.
Okay. Thank you. I think we will move on with this one. And everybody else who couldn't give their take on this, you can do so with the next question. So when they asking you this, tell me about yourself and your experience. If they don't ask your experience, mostly they'll say, tell me about yourself, right? So the tell me about yourself, this is one of the questions that is really going to throw you off. In fact, this is, if not the most, this is among the one of the most difficult questions during an interview. And you might say, I mean, but it's just about me, right? Now, there's a lot of things about you. What really are they looking for, right? So you might say they want to look at my experience to see whether it aligns with what they are looking for, but they didn't ask you what is your experience and does it align with what we are looking for. They just said, tell me about yourself. So really, if you think about it, should it include your family, your pets, your hobbies, or should you just stick to just cybersecurity, or should it go outside cybersecurity? Right. Now, if you don't practice your lines for this, you are going to mess up, because reason why is easy for you to mess up on this question, and you are going to keep going on and on and on and on, because it's about you. And there's a lot that you can say about yourself. Right. But if you don't practice and you don't restrict yourself and limit yourself to exactly what they are looking for, this question is going to be a run on. You're going to give a run on answer. So, not the only way, but one good way to tackle this is what we have here. Example. So you have to practice your lines, right? And exactly as we have it, if you follow, this example, you are going to do great, not just fine, great on the interview. So for example, you can go with, I'm Kwame with this number of experience in the security field. So, and also holding on to this one, just the first line. So then you might ask that I'm getting into security, right? I just finished my 3 months, 4 months, 5 months course, or I just finished a degree or a master's. So how many years of experience am I going to have, or what can I say? I've not really worked in security for 5 years or 6 years. So what do I put on here? Anybody knows how to go about that? If you just completed the training, you are breaking into the security space. What is going to be your number of experience? Anyone? That is the big question mark, right? Isaac, please go ahead.
1 year.
Why 1 year? Why would you say 1 year?
Yeah, it's because during during the classes or the assignment that you did, and at least you have like a knowledge about the cybersecurity, and with a 3 months course that you did, adding it to maybe the little knowledge sum up to at least 1 year.
Okay. So then let me do a follow-up with you. Let's say Kwame used to work in Walmart. Kwame has been a manager at Walmart for 12 years, right? He wants to switch into cybersecurity. And the job he's applying to is a cybersecurity manager role. How many years of experience is Kwame going to put on here? 1 year, but he has 12 years of managerial experience being a manager, and he's applying for a cybersecurity manager role. So what is he going to put here? I mean, he's had maybe 4 or 5 months of training in cybersecurity. What really is a good number for him to put here? Is it 1 year? Would you still go with 1 year, Isaac, in this scenario?
I think so because it's an internship. If it is like a manager role, then maybe like 2 years or 3 years would do. But if you are going as an intern, I think it's 1 year.
No, okay. So I'm just gonna let you off the hook. Now, okay, Jamel, please go ahead, and then Andy can go, and we'll move on.
Yeah. Like for me, if he had 12 years, then he should put 13 years and, 13 years including his internship because you have transferable skills in there that they're going to be needing in the cybersecurity role too. So you won't negate your experience of the 12 years because you have to as well.
Yes. Andy, please go ahead, and we'll move on.
Basically, I was going to say there are many things that we do that is related that we don't seem to consider that. So the transferable skills, just like you're saying, the security aspect of it is one, but there are a lot more that you've done in the past that is can be transferred here. So you add all of that into it.
Okay. Great.
Just like
Okay. Thank you. So yes, like you rightly said, kindly give me a second here. Okay. So for the example that I was giving, I was trying to steer, Isaac into a certain direction. So if you look at every job description, right? This is not me saying it. If you look at every job description, every cybersecurity job description, GRC job description, you see a combination of soft skills and technical skills when it comes to what they are looking for, right? So they'll list the technical skills. Maybe you should, have proficiency in using CIS controls. You should have proficiency conducting vulnerability management. You should have proficiency. And then after that, that is where they start listing the soft skills, right? Great leadership skills, team player, interpersonal skills, presentation skills, communication, oral and verbal and written, right? If all those skills were not needed, the space that they are using to advertise the role is not free. So if you are renting a space, you are paying money. I don't think you're going to put things that you don't need there, right? And you're not going to list it together with things directly with things that you need. So if it is there, it means they need a combination of technical and non-technical skills, right? So if they say your number of years of experience is not just your technical skills, and you can, for your non-technical skills, it doesn't have to only be from a cybersecurity role, right? So if you're a manager at Walmart or manager at anywhere else for 10 years and you are transitioning into cybersecurity, now you are technically proficient because you've gone through training, you've done some internship, but you are applying for a managerial role in cybersecurity. You cannot tell me you have 0 years of experience or at least just 1 year of experience, because how different is managing people in Walmart and managing people in cybersecurity? Without a technical part of what they are doing, managing the technical aspect of what you are doing in both areas, managing people is the same everywhere, right? People who wouldn't show up in Walmart wouldn't show up in cybersecurity. People who will just, wouldn't do their work well here wouldn't do their work well here, right? So how you deal with them, how you manage them, the same, right? So the experience that you are gaining managing people here is the same skills that you are going to be needing here managing people, right? So the technical part of it, once you get polished up on it, mostly the hard portion of when it comes to the skills, the hard portion of the whole entire skills, domain is getting you really proficient on the non-technical skills. Right. For the technical skills, we can get you proficient in. You can either drive a car or you cannot drive a car. But for a leader, are you a good leader or you are not a good leader? That is kind of subjective. Right. So, somebody will take one approach, get the results. Another person will take a different approach, get the results. When it comes to the technical side, it's either, you can do it or you can't do it. Right. So when they are talking about your years of experience, it's not just your technical. So let's get out of that mindset of I've not worked in cybersecurity for 5 years. So that means I don't have 5 years of experience. Or based on my soft skills and technical skills combined, I cannot say I have 3 years or 2 years or right. So when you are what I'm trying to say is when you are studying in cybersecurity, you are not starting from zero without you even knowing any technical skills or having any technical knowledge and skill, because you have some transferable soft skills coming into it, which is needed in cybersecurity, you are not starting from zero. So let's get that, out of the way. Most people get into that mindset of that I've not been doing this in cybersecurity you don't have to manage people in cybersecurity for 10 years to have 10 years of managerial skills. Right. In the same way, if you are moving from cybersecurity to a different field, and you were managing 5, 10 people in cybersecurity, your managerial skills go like that was transferable to wherever you are going to, right? So hopefully that is clear. Now let's jump straight into this, move a bit faster. So I'm Kwame with this number of years of experience. My area of expertise or areas of expertise in cybersecurity, or you can just areas of expertise include, but not limited to. So what do you think is going to be listed here? Now here you are not listing things that you like or things that you really want to show them that you can do. But whatever you want to show them that you can do should be in line with what they are looking for. Right. So your proficiency, the everything that you've been doing on the job description, the list that they have on there, it should really be those things that you are talking about here. Because either than that, if they are looking for somebody who is proficient in incident response, vulnerability management, risk management, and you are on there talking about, something else, which is also part of cybersecurity, then yes, you have some experience working in other areas of cybersecurity, but that is not what they are looking for. Right. So they might move on with somebody else. So everything, tell me about yourself, should be directly about what they are looking for. That is the trick to this question. So your name, the number of years of experience, your areas of expertise, which should be directly from what they are looking for. And then also showcasing some of your soft skills. So you've worked with cross-functional teams in the past to secure the security posture of your organization, or something on those lines. So you can have it, if you practice this well, you can have 3 or 4 lines. So tell me about yourself. My first line is my name and my years of experience. Second line, my areas of expertise. My third line, soft skills. I've worked with different teams. So if whatever soft skills they have listed and what they are looking for, you can, come up with this. Now, this doesn't have to be a whole science project. You can get this directly from if you look at every job description, the very first, like the very top, after they talk about their company and what they do, they are going to move forward and tell you about the role, what you are going to do in that role. They do that, like they give you a summary. The summary is what you're going to use for this, right? You can just pick from the summary and create, tell me about yourself from it. And this is going to set your whole conversation. Like this will set the tone for your whole conversation. So if after 4 minutes you are still telling them about yourself, then the interview is not going to go well, right? You are just going on and on and on and on. You don't know when to stop because you didn't practice your lines, right? So hopefully everybody gets something from this one. Now, the next one is, why should we select you over other candidates? And this is also a tricky one, right? What do you think they are really looking for here? Anyone? I mean, but frankly, ask yourself, why should they pick you over everybody else? Mamos, please go ahead.
I think what they're looking for there is they want to know if you align with the mission statement of the company. You know, if you fit into what the company wants. Sometimes they want, okay, someone who will stay a lot. Like, I think at one of the interviews, they asked me if I want to be, do I wish to be a QSA? And then I said, in fact, they even gave me the highlight, what they're really looking for. And from that experience, I think for that role, if the long-term plan, if you fit into the long-term plan of the company.
Okay. So they want to know if you fit into their long-term plan, but why are they asking you? I mean, they can judge for themselves from the answers you give into other questions. But why ask you? And they are pitching you against other candidates. Right. Mike, please go ahead.
Probably they're asking this to measure from your response to see what value you can bring to the team, uh, and it may be your level of dedication. So in your response, you can speak to that as to what value you hope to bring to the team and your level of dedication.
Okay. And I think there was another hand up. Daniel, please go ahead and we'll move forward with the answer.
All right, thanks. My addition, I would just want to buttress what Mike talked about, but I think it is more around my experience, my skill sets, as it aligns to the job spec and what I'm bringing on board. I also think it's an opportunity for me to actually sell myself, cross-referencing things I've done from previous roles that aligns to, all that I can kind of bring into what the role is all about. Yeah. So that's the angle I'll go through.
Okay. So if you were a medical doctor at a hospital and I came there and I'm supposed to pick a provider, right? I'm new to the hospital, so they'll assign me a doctor. And there is like 3 of you that I'm talking to pick one. And I ask you, the doctor, why should I pick you over the other 2 doctors who can equally do the same job that you're about to do? Think about it. What is going to be your best answer? Because everything that you are telling me, let's say the others can also do equally the same thing. So why you? Right? That makes it, now everybody sees how tricky this is. So what are they really looking for? Kindly go ahead. I think there was a hand up. I don't know if that Jacqueline, please go ahead.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Like they will be looking for what you can bring to the table, just like Mike said, how your skills that you have gathered over the years, you can bring the skills to their organization and help the company. And also, they'll be looking, that question could be, they could be looking to see if you are somebody who will be a cultural fit in the organization, meaning you'll be able to stay with them for a long time.
Okay. So let's wrap this up. So Jackie, I want to ask you, you are applying to this role with Mike. Are you better than Mike?
Yeah, I
I'm
can't
asking you,
measure
Jackie.
that.
No, like I'm asking you, if I'm the one interviewing you, I'm actually, are you better than Mike?
Yes. So, yeah, they want to know whatever answer I give to them will be something that surpasses what Mike must have told them. Like I
So,
have the skills, and I have a roadmap that I can use to help your organization
okay,
grow or enhance your organization.
okay. So let me help everybody here out. What they are looking for here simply is how confident are you? How confident are you in your own abilities? Because if we are looking at from the angle of are you a good cultural fit? Are you they can get answers to all that from tell me about yourself and from other questions. Right. Now they are simply asking you, are you better than Mike? Are you better than Andy? Are you better than and if you think you are modest and you don't want to yeah, Andy is also equally good, so we can then why should they even hire you? Then they can just go with Andy. But you are going in there in your head, you are competing with everybody, but you should be thinking you are better than everybody. Because if you are not confident enough to say you are better than everybody, then how can you hold that role? Everybody gets that piece?
Yes,
Because
Doctor, it makes sense.
like the
Yes.
doctor example that I was giving, if you're the doctor and I'm asking you, why should I pick you to be my provider? And you're like, well, Jacqueline is also a good doctor, and Andy is also good. We are all equally good. I mean, I can help with some stuff, and nobody wants to deal with somebody who is not confident. You have to be confident in your own abilities. Are you better than Andy? Of course, I'm better than Andy. I can do this and that and that and that and that. And Andy cannot do half of it, even though Andy taught me everything I know. Right. So this is sheerly just, hey, how confident are you? So this is no time for you to be modest and just to tell them I'm the best thing that you can ever have in your company. That is what they want. They want somebody who is bold and confident, right? So, and then once you let that out, then you can talk about what you are bringing to the table, right? And you can talk about how your personal goals aligns with, and with this, also the trick to answering this is, if you've not really, that is why I encourage everybody before you go to an interview, you have to know more about the company than the person who's going to interview you. Even though they work in the company, you can know more about the company than them. I mean, in today's day, it is very easy and simple. In the in your palms, you have your smartphone that can help you find out information about companies that easy. And some like the companies, they don't even make it that hard. Every job description, they have a summary of their company and what they do. Now you can dig a little bit more, find out about their mission statement, their vision statement, their values, right? So those items that you have just listed, you are going to integrate them into your answer for why should we hire you over everybody else. Now, after telling them you are better than everybody, don't think that shows that you are arrogant, or if you are not arrogant, then you cannot hold any position, right? Frankly, like I always say, who is the most qualified person to be the president of any country? Nobody. Is the person who thinks he's better than all of us to be president and rule over all of us who becomes the president. Frankly, because there's really no qualification or prerequisites. And if somebody became a president, you can become a president without even going to school, right? There is nothing like, hey, you should be a male or a female. Maybe they have some age limits, right? You cannot be 3 years old and be a president. Yeah, I get that piece. But after the age part, you can be male, female. You could have gone to school. You could have not gone to school. That doesn't really matter, right? It's whoever is confident enough to think he can lead the country who becomes the president, who even, have the guts to run for office, right? So think about it that way. Now, for you, you are not just running on sheer confidence, but you have the skill sets that is needed. And you have to be confident in your own skills to be able to do anything, right? So once you have that mindset already, then you can go into how your personal goals aligns with the company's vision and values or whatever they have, right? And your technical and soft skills, your technical and soft skills will help you excel in this position. And this is the reason why it will help you excel. Now, you can say your technical and soft skills will help them in any way. If you don't know how they are, like how the role that you are going into really looks like, you are going to work with which teams, which stakeholders. So knowing all that will help you to really craft this well and be able to really deliver. So if this is for a health company, my technical and soft skills in conducting HIPAA assessments, right, together with maybe ISO 20701 assessments, really I have a plan, and this is my plan, right? My 90-day plan of ensuring that once I get on board, we do a very thorough internal assessment, identify all our gaps, work on them on on this schedule. So by the time we are due for our main assessment, we are green across board, and right. So hopefully everybody gets what I'm trying to do here, right? So you have to go in there with a plan also set up. So you are not just going to be confident and say you are better than everybody, but then you are coming in with what everybody else is bringing in. Right. And what can set you apart from everybody else is always go into interviews with a plan. So assuming, or let's say you are given the role, what is going to be your 30 days, 60 days, 90 days plan for the company? Like what are you going to do in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? If you just take this and run with it, everybody interviewing you is going to, sit well in their seat and now attentively, look at you and pay attention to you. Because you are the only one who is actually coming in with a plan. Everybody else is like, yeah, I can do the job. I have this skill sets. Yeah, please take me. I can do the job. But you are coming in there like a boss. I can help you do A, B, C, D. And this is the plan, the strategy that I'm going to use to do that. So you come in more prepared than everybody else. Because everybody else is coming in there for a job and almost literally like begging from how they are answering interview questions. Right. But if you're coming in with a plan, you are coming in like a boss, telling them you're already coming in like a consultant. I'm going to do A, B, C, D because you guys do this and that and that. This is what I'm going to do. This is the strategy. This can help you move from there to there. Right. Everybody is looking for a solution. Every company is looking for a solution. And if I'm the one interviewing you and you are coming in with that plan, oh man, you're going to make my life a whole lot easier. Right. My life is going to be, so smooth, because you have a better plan than even me, who is going to be your boss. So which makes, it makes more sense to go with you than to go with somebody who is just talking and talking with no plan, right? So hopefully everybody gets the trick on this one. Andy, please go ahead. Do you have an addition to this or something else that you wanted to ask?
Oh, never mind. I should have lowered it a long time ago. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right then. All right. So let's move on to the next question, which is, what do you know about our company? Right. What do you know about our company? Now, if you didn't do any research about the company and you are sitting there like, well, I think you sell shoes or candy or computers, then you might as well just take your papers and tell them, thank you very much. We will meet again somewhere in life. Adios, and just leave. Right. Because you can be very technical proficient. You are the best thing that ever happened to cybersecurity. If you are coming to my interview and I ask you, what do you know about my company? And you pull a blank on this one, that is the end of the story. And why do you think that is? Right. It's like Jacqueline Jacqueline is this billionaire. She wants to marry her sweetheart, but she has three options. So three guys she's interviewing and asking them, hey, what do you know about me? Aside, why do you want to marry me? And why do you think you're a good fit for me? She's asking you, what do you know about me and my family? And you're like, well, I know you live in New York, but that's about all I know about you. Really? And you want to be my life partner? Really? Come on. Right. You don't know anything about me, but you are swearing heaven and earth. You are the best person who is going to be my husband or wife. I don't think that is going to work for anybody on here. If it is you who is interviewing your significant other and they don't know anything about you, zero, I don't think anybody will go ahead with that. Right? You don't want to marry a stranger. I mean, we all marry. You eventually, the stranger is not going. It will eventually become somebody who is not a stranger, right? But you're not just going to meet somebody who, if they don't know about you, what it's like, what it is saying is that they don't care about you, right? If you care about something, you find out about that thing, right? You learn more about that thing. So if it's a human being, you learn more about that human being, what they like, what they don't like, where their story, right? So for the same thing for the company, if you go in there and they're like, tell, like, what do you know about that company? And you don't know anything, then, I mean, it's obvious you are just there for the money, which, yes, of course, everybody is there for the money, but don't make it that obvious, right? Because you want to show that you're somebody, at least you care about the company. So you went out of your way, and this is not even going out of your way to find out more about the company, right? Because as a security professional, if you don't know more about the company and what they do, how are you going to protect the company in any way, right? So hopefully everybody gets the trick to this one also as well. So this is when they ask you, tell me about our company. What do you know about our company? One, they are looking for your attention to detail, analytical thinking, right? Your and like other soft skills that I think you can all fill in the blanks. Because if you pay attention to detail, tell me about the company is the first thing that you are going to read on the job description. It gives you a summary of what the company does. So if you are pulling a blank, it means you didn't pay attention to the job description. You just saw the job description, move straight to things that you are going to do in whatever role. But if that is the only thing they wanted you to know, they would have put only that on there on the job description. So everything else on the job description is equally important. So if they ask you something about that and you don't know, it means you don't pay attention to detail. Is that obvious, right? So they are not going to ask you, how well do you pay attention to detail? They're not going to ask you, but your answer from questions like this, they can read a lot about you. You don't pay attention to detail. 2, you don't care. 3, you are just in for the money. So if you get a bigger money elsewhere, you're going to move, right? So you are kind of a risky candidate in this sense. But you could have been the best technical person or the most proficient. You can do the job better than everybody they are interviewing, but they are not going to go with you because they are not just looking for technical proficiency. They are looking for somebody who is all-rounded. Mike, please go ahead, and we will move on.
Yeah, Dr. Dave, I want to find out from you this question, why why company X? Why do you want to work for us? Is that another way of asking what do you know about the company?
So why do you want to work for us, right? It's similar to the previous question that we looked at, which was, why should we select you over everybody else? Right. So the answer should also go the same way, right? Why do you want to work for us? Yes, obviously I'm the best candidate among everybody else you are interviewing, even though I don't know them. The best. In your head, you should be the best. Right. So aside you being the best, then how is your skill sets aligned with what they are looking for? And what is your plan and your strategy for the company? Right. So why you want to work for us? Why should we pick you over everybody else? They are almost the same. Right. All of it, they are looking for, 1, how confident you are, and 2, what is your strategy and what are you bringing to the table to help the company move from point A to point B? Right. So hopefully that helps. Like,
Okay, yeah.
yes. Okay. So the answer to what we just saw, Company X is a consulting firm, a cybersecurity consulting firm, a consulting firm that provide the following services. the company was founded in this, on this day, in this year. The company's mission statement is about that. The vision is about that. The values of the company about that. The team that you are going to work for, or like the different divisions within the company. If you're able to get to know all that, you can also talk about all that as well, right? So hopefully we are getting something from this one also. Now for the next question, describe a time when you had to work with a team to resolve a cybersecurity issue, and how did you go about it? Now we are going to move into answering questions using the STAR method. We briefly touched on this last time, but such questions should always go, you should follow the STAR method. And if you're not familiar with the STAR method, is STAR, right? So situation, task, action, results. And for this question, what do you think they are looking for? Describe a time when you had to work with a team to resolve cybersecurity issue. What are they really looking for? Anyone? Mamouz, please go ahead.
Teamwork.
Maybe your team player skills.
Yes, team player skills is one.
Communication skills.
Yes, communication skills.
Leadership and initiative.
Yes.
Analytical
Problem
skills.
solving. Yes, I have problem solving, analytical skills. Yes. So, you also have to pick up on some of the keywords in the questions they are asking you, right? So describe a time, when you had to work with a team. So team is the key word here. Two, to resolve an issue. So team and resolving an issue is what they are looking for. Now, if you are going to interviews, you should go in there with answers already prepared. Interviews, during the interview time, that is really not the time for you to think and to come up with answers, because you have a limited time. You are being pulled from all directions. So you should go in already prepared with scenarios for like different, star ways of the STAR method of answering questions. So you should have enough scenarios like this. And sometimes you can even use one scenario for a similar scenario for like similar questions, right? So describe a time when you had to work with a team to resolve an issue. Now they are looking for a situation. So you are going to describe the situation. You are going to describe the task that was supposed to be accomplished per the situation. You are going to talk about the action you and your team took and the results, right? So if you structure all your answers that way, you are going to hit every keynote that is needed. But the key words here is team and resolve. So when you really talk about this well, you're also going to exhibit your communication skills, analytical thinking, right? And then even though this is more of soft skills, you can also, however you come up with your scenarios, can also throw more light on your technical skills and expertise as well, right? So this is an example of how you can answer this. So situation, in my previous role, our organization faced a malware outbreak that was spreading quickly across endpoints. So this is a situation, right? The tax was, I was part of the cybersecurity team tasked with containing and remediating this issue. So you're part of the incident response team tasked to do this, right? Now the action, you collaborated with your team members to identify the infected systems by analyzing your SIM alerts. Your team prioritized the critical nodes, quarantined the affected machines, and then you applied patches. You also coordinated with network engineers to block malicious traffic at the firewall. Right. Now, although we are answering a soft skills question, but the action you took is really highlighting, your understanding and your expertise when it comes to handling incidents. Right. And then the results, this is the most important. After all that you did, what was the results? So we resolved the incident within 12 hours, minimized business downtime, and implemented lessons learned to improve incident response protocols. Right. So mostly with your results, you should be able to quantify, come up with some numbers, right, to quantify what you did and the results that you really had. Right. So this is a very good example of how you're going to use the STAR method to answer the question that we just looked at. Right. So with that, we'll move on to the next one. So the next one is share a time when you had to communicate complex technical information to non-technical stakeholders. Right. And what are they looking for here? Similar to what we just saw, but here the keywords here is complex communicating. So communication is what they are looking for here. And then what are you communicating? Complex technical information to non-technical stakeholders. So simply they are looking at how proficient are you in breaking down technical stuff to non-technical people. Now, this example can, in every field, you need to really have the skill sets. As a nurse, if I come to the hospital, my family member is sick and they have some kind of condition, and you are telling me and you are just using all these medical, terminologies, and I'm just going to look at your face like, what the hell are you talking about? Right. You have to be able to break it down, to simple day, everyday conversation for me to be able to understand. And this is the same thing we do in cybersecurity as well. So you cannot be going technical, talking to people who have no clue what you are talking about. They're just going to look at your face like you are speaking some other language, right? So the ability to really break down complex technical information to non-technical people is a skill that every security professional should be proficient in, or you should be working on it. So we go the same way, situation, task, action, results. For this example, during a vulnerability assessment, I identified several critical security gaps in a business application used by non-technical stakeholders, right? And what was the task? The task was I had to explain the risks and propose solutions without overwhelming them with technical jargons. And then the action that I took was that I created a visual, engaging presentation using diagrams and simple analogies to explain the vulnerabilities and their potential impact. I provided actionable steps they could take to mitigate the risks. And what was the result of everything that I did? The stakeholders, they understood the urgency, they approved the remediation steps, and they fully supported the security improvements, that were implemented, right? So this also displaying your leadership and managerial skills, your project management skills, your interpersonal skills, right? And then still showing your technical proficiency, right? To be able to do this and pull this off this way, and this is more convincing to everybody. And you can use different, scenarios to also do this, right? Now, the next one, tell me about the time you had to prioritize tasks under tight deadlines. So one, this is the keyword prioritize. Prioritize. Kindly mute yourself, Mike. So prioritizing tasks under tight deadlines. So and this is also talking about working under stress. How well do you work under stress? Right. So we are looking at your project management skills, how you analyze stuff, your critical thinking skills are also being scrutinized here, right? So still same thing, situation, task, action, results. And you can come up with, whatever situation that you're in, and these questions, right, they don't necessarily have to be in a cybersecurity setting. So you can talk about them Also, for whichever background that you are coming from, you can have a scenario from there, but you have to make sure you also do away with most of the technical stuff from that area, right? So you can talk about, some things without necessarily going to the technical, and that is equally going to work here as well, because what they are looking for is not necessarily just cybersecurity, how you handle situations like this in cybersecurity, but how you've handled it in the past elsewhere also counts, right? So situation, tax action results again. So situation here, during an internal audit, several vulnerabilities were identified that required immediate remediation alongside my daily operational tax, right? And before I move on with this, I just remembered, I think we had one student, I'm not sure if it was good luck. He was interviewing, he went to an interview, and when he was done, they gave him some aptitude test to take before they move him forward. Now, the aptitude test followed questions similar to this, and they gave you multiple choice answers, right? So you had, it wasn't tell me about the time, but it will put it in a way of you had too much to do within a short period of time. What would you do? And they gave you some answers, right, to choose from. If you don't get, you really don't, if you don't understand exactly what they are looking for, you are going to choose an answer that you think is right, but it might be wrong, right? Here they are looking for how you prioritize tax under tight situations and conditions, right? So you shouldn't go with, I will talk to my manager, or I'll have my manager help me with the tax. All those should be totally out. They know your manager is there. They're asking you, how are you going to do it, right? And you shouldn't say there's not enough resources or enough time, so I wouldn't be able to do this. I'll just focus on my daily duties. That is also a big no-no, right? So situation, I've read the situation already. So for the tax, I needed to balance vulnerability patching, routine security monitoring, and generating compliance reports within a 2-week time frame, right? So what was the action? I prioritized vulnerabilities based on CVSS score and business impact, whilst delegating routine tasks to team members. I use project management tools to track progress and ensure deadlines were met. So with the project management tool, you can mention a name or just leave it as that, right? What was the results? All critical vulnerabilities were addressed within the audit deadline, and then also routine operations were maintained without interruption, right? Now, when you go to some interviews, you don't necessarily have to tell them situation tax action results, but some interviews, the person interviewing you might tell you, hey, I want you to answer these questions, all the questions I'm asking you, in the format of the STAR method, right? So they want you to actually go with, the situation was this, the tax was this, the action was this, and the result was that, right? So if they don't ask you, then you can just, phrase it anyhow you want to make it sound, more, speaking type of, not necessarily going with, tax situation, tax action results. So the next question, give an example of a time you identified a gap, you identified a potential security threat before it became an issue. So still same thing, situation, tax action results. And okay, let's go back. What is the goal here? What are they looking for? So an example of a time you identified a potential security threat before it became an issue. What are they looking for here? Anyone? And please go ahead.
Basically, they're essentially looking for your vigilance, and essentially, if you basically know the procedures to handle security threats, who to report to, and then overall, they're just looking for how proactive you are when it comes to actual threats facing the.
Okay. And in addition to that, what else? What soft skills are they really looking for?
Attention to detail.
Problem solving.
Yes, attention to detail, problem solving.
Creativity.
Yes.
Proactivity.
Proactivity, yes.
Analytical.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and for the technical side, what are they also looking at? Samuel, please. No, I think Samuel is coming in now. For technical side, what are they looking at?
They're looking to know what tools you know or what tools you have that would enable you to be able to.
Okay.
Okay, they are looking at you doing your due diligence.
Okay. So if you pay attention to this, they are asking you, give an example of a time you identified a potential security threat. So what broader area are we looking at?
Threat intelligence.
Incident response.
Vulnerability management.
Incident response. Right. How do you handle an incident if it happens? So if you identify the incident, right, how are you going to handle it? And I think Ian spoke about it a bit earlier. He touched on some of the things. So how do you handle an incident? Whom do you call? Right? Do you know like the processes and the procedure within your organization to follow if there's an incident? Right. So on the technical side, they are looking at, okay, incident response. What are you going to do? First, then you are the one who identified this first before it became an issue. So if it becomes an issue, then it means it has actually become an incident. Right. So the technical for the soft skill side, yes, we nailed it. Technical side, the focus is on identity and access management. Not identity, incident response. Right. So let's move forward. So for our proposed answer, which can take any form. So we'll go with situation. Whilst reviewing system logs, I noticed unusual login attempts from a foreign IP address outside of business hours. So that is a very good situation for you to just be able to get your tax action results. Now, my objective was to investigate the anomaly and prevent unauthorized access. So action was I analyzed the log, identified the targeted accounts, and immediately escalated the issue. So if you pay attention to this, what is happening here is incident response. So the first step is to really identify and make sure it's not just an adverse event, but this is actually an incident, right? Now you can either directly contact once you know for sure this is an incident. One, you don't have to necessarily do that assessment yourself. The identification and detection, you don't necessarily have to do it yourself. But if you're a technical and your role requires that, you can just do the initial identification and identification and detection yourself. And if per your scale, you think, okay, this is something that we have to dig into, then you can just push it down to the incident response people, right? But what is being happen, what we are talking about here for the action is also right. Once you escalate it, it means you are sending it off to the people who are actually responsible for it, right? So, and I also recommended blocking the IP addresses, ensuring that multi-factor authentication is used. Now, what we are talking about here is, so I went ahead and I started doing the containment, right? So if you know the steps in incident response, once you do identification and detection, you go into containment. You have to contain the incident. Don't let it spread any further, right? So I moved straight into containment. And then what was the results? The suspicious activity was mitigated before any breach occurred, and multi-factor authentication significantly improved the overall security of our company. Right. So this is showing your incident response skills and your incident response expertise. At the same time, you're also demonstrating critical thinking, great communication skills, how you handle incidents or how you handle, situations that you find yourself in. Right. So a really good example and a good scenario for this one. Now, the next one, describe a time you face resistance when implementing a security policy. Now, what is the real goal? What are we looking at here? So keywords here: phase resistance. Another keyword: implementing security policy. Now the implementation can be anything. Implementing changes to whatever. Now the keyword is phase resistance when implementing or whilst implementing something. What really are we looking at, or what do they want to get out of this question? Anyone?
I think they want to see how well you work with others who do not necessarily agree with you and how you're able to communicate your points across without having to have any issues with anyone on the team.
How do we call that? One word.
Collaboration.
Is it
Resolutions.
Conflict resolution.
Good. Conflict. If you're in a team and somebody is resisting everything that you're doing, what is happening? There is a conflict, right? So they are looking at how do you handle conflict, right? So if you, now that we know the goal of what they are asking us, it's easy for us to come up with something, right? So as part of the scenarios that you have to build or have that, ready to go, you should have one for incident. You should have one for incidents. You should have one for conflict resolution. You should have one for working in a team. If somebody is not pulling their weight, you should have one for selling an idea to a boss. You should have, there are so many of them, right? But mostly, if you get how to create these scenarios or put whatever you've done, you just have to be able to put them in a scenario form for it to fit, right? So let's look at the answer for this one. Now, situation, I was tasked with enforcing a stricter password policy, and this is a very good and easy one. In an organization where employees were resisting this change, my role was to implement the policy whilst addressing employee concerns. The action I took was that I conducted training sessions to explain the importance of strong passwords and provided tools such as password managers to ease the transition. Right. Now, the results: employees adopted the new policy with minimal pushback, and we observed a measurable decrease in password-related incidents, which is a really, really good scenario. And there's an easy one that you can also use, right? It's a really good scenario. I like this one. Now, the next one: share a time where you made a mistake and how did you handle it? Now, this is a very tricky one, right? Very, very tricky. And what do you think they are looking at? Are they looking at how honest you are, or like what really are they looking at?
Honesty.
Problem solving.
No.
Problem. Okay. Problem solving, honesty. Okay.
Accountability.
Anybody else? Accountability.
Accountability is the word.
Okay. Anybody else?
Weakness.
Okay.
Accountability.
Accountability. Okay.
They are looking at how you can correct your mistakes.
Okay. So for me, my take, they are looking at how well you can shoot yourself in the foot. Right. Because
that's the military way.
yeah, so they are giving you the gun. Hey, these are your foot. Which one are you going to shoot, left or right? Right. So this is always a tricky question in interviews. Tell me about mistakes you made and what happened. Right. So there are some mistakes. If you tell them about certain mistakes, you cannot recover from what you just told them. Right. So if you tell them, so there was this one time, there was an incident, but I didn't tell anybody because I was thinking that was going to be my fault and I was going to get fired. So, this malware just traveled through our whole entire network, and all our computers were encrypted because it was ransomware, and I saw it first, but I panicked, so I didn't do anything about it, and our whole company was shut down for 2 months. But I really learned from that. So next time when something like that happened, I was able to tell my boss, and you are not recovering from that situation that you've just created for yourself here. Right. They are just there scratching their head like, I mean, she did really well in the interview, except with this question. There's no coming back from that one. Right. Or you say something on those lines or something that is really like, oops. So, like I said, there's an opportunity for you to shoot yourself in the foot, or an opportunity for you to also wiggle your way out and let them know that, yes, you've seen this question before and you know how to handle it. Right. So, if so, for the example that for what I've been, talking about the whole time, if you don't go in with scenarios already prep, how do you think you're going to answer this question on your feet? Because anything that you say might be wrong, right? So if you've thought about this already, you have scenarios already prepped. Okay, I'm not going to say, so I'm trying to exhibit honesty. At the same time, I'm not saying something that is going to shoot myself in the foot. I'm balancing it out. So yes, we did make some mistakes, but it wasn't a mistake that was going to cause a grave impact to the organization's operations, or the organization couldn't recover from, right? Might probably be some little event that we're able to bounce back from, right? And then you also learn from. So you can make it look like, okay, a situation that you turn around and made it even better, right? So, Andy, please go ahead and we'll move along with the answer for this one.
Could this also be a situation of exposing your weakness?
So, like I'm saying, for weakness, you should be able to measure what is good enough to not make you look too bad. Because for the interview, you have to put your best foot forward, right?
Right,
So
but
if you say,
what I'm
yes, go
saying
ahead.
is, could this be a similar situation to that? So that you give an example, like if I say something that when we had something that we needed to do, and instead of me delegating this a situation, I still took it on, but I realized we could have gone further if I had delegated it to somebody else, and it would also have come up to a good end and prompted on that time. And now I've learned that there are times that you can't do it all as a leader. You have to delegate at some point. If you say something along those lines, would they
Yes.
come to the same?
I mean, you can go
correction?
along those lines, right? But what I'm trying to tell everyone is don't go on a tangent that you cannot recover from, right? So if you don't really think this through before an interview, or in an interview, they tell you, okay, what are some of your weaknesses? If you say something that some things you cannot recover back from. So what are some of your weaknesses? And you tell them, so for you, you had problems getting to work on time, right? But now you've, made some changes in your life, and you're getting to work, not being able to get to work on time wasn't because you were taking care of your kid, or you were something, maybe you had a special needs kid or something. It wasn't anything. You were just sheer, like you just couldn't show up to save your life. You are just not showing up on time. But now you've made some changes, so you're able to show up on time. And if anybody tells you that in an interview, you are sitting there scratching your head like, that might be a problem. Even though now you said you can show up on time, you are just saying that to impress us now that way. But then you are the one who brought up this weakness yourself, right? So you don't say things that you cannot recover from. Because some things, once you've said it, that's it, right? So if you've heard about like this is just off track, the funny story about the three pastors who were, having some heart-to-heart talk, and everybody was sharing their weakness. And two pastors, they talked about, how, I'm weak in this area, and, I've been struggling with it, and I'm weak with money. I've been struggling with it. And the other pastor is like, yeah, my weakness is I can't keep a secret. Right. Now they are looking at him like, should we murder this guy or? he's had our secrets, and his weakness is he can't keep a secret. You see what I mean? So now you can't take what you told him away. He's had it already. And this guy is just going to turn around and tell everybody, tell on both of you. So, in such situations, you don't want to go that route, right? You want to make it measured. Everybody has a weakness. We all have weaknesses. But which one are you going to put out that is not going to make you look that, right? That is not much of a weakness, but there's just some minute things that we can easily recover from, right? So the example here, the answer for this one, so early in my career, I mistakenly marked a script as malicious during routine threat analysis. I had to acknowledge my mistake, communicated it to my team, and prevented future occurrences, right? So action, I immediately informed my manager, explained the situation, and collaborated with the team to reverse the action taken. I then created a checklist to validate findings before escalating it. This can also go on the lines of incident response. So early in my career, there was an event that I thought or I diagnosed to be an incident. I escalated it to the incident response people. They later came back and said it wasn't an incident. So I decided to maybe take some more classes or to polish up my skills on doing identification and detection when it comes to incidents. Now here, although this is the example that I just gave, this is a weakness, but it's a good weakness because if you are not sure whether something is an event or an incident, you assume the worst. So you assume it was an incident, which was good, right? Although it's a weakness. So all your weaknesses should make you look good at the end of it, right? Not a weakness that is going to make you really look bad and people will scratch your head. And all the hard work that you put into all the interview all went to waste because of just one thing that you said, right? So now here the results, the incident had no significant impact. You see what I mean? The results, what happened or your weakness didn't have any significant impact. And the checklist became a standard practice in our team. So your weakness has now, set the standard for your whole entire team. This is how you want to answer questions like that, right? Not to say you are the most honest person, so you are going to just tell them, like tell on yourself. The person who is sitting there interviewing you, they also have their own weaknesses, but they are in that position, right? So you also have to put your best foot forward. Now, moving forward, we are going to jump into the technical part of this. Hopefully, we are all gaining something from the non-technical soft skills part. Tomorrow, kindly join us to celebrate our interns, our September 24th cohort who just completed their internship. And for folks looking to jump into AI space, AI governance is one of the areas of AI that you can easily excel, most especially when you are coming from a security background also as well, right? And for our cloud security, we encourage you to look into our cloud security program. Very interesting program that we have for cloud security. Is the best cloud security course out there. I can tell you that for a fact. And for folks looking to jump into cybersecurity, we encourage you to look into our cybersecurity entry-level course. It comes with the training, the hands-on where you get to work with the tools, and then the internship where you get to actually work on real-world security projects. And there's one-on-one mentorship, and then you also get job placement assistance as well. And for folks looking to specialize in arguably the most lucrative area of cybersecurity is our PCI DSS program. You can jump onto that also as well. And for folks who've gone through different training from RMF to GRC training where they're just teaching you frameworks, it's time for you to start working on some projects to be able to market yourself well, do interviews with confidence. And when you land your first cybersecurity job, do it well and be more proficient as a cybersecurity professional. So you cannot, you can learn, but if you are not doing, the learning just ends at the learning, right? When you go to interviews, they are not looking for definitions of things. They are looking for things you've done and what you can do for them, right? So join our GRC internship. Our new start date is on the 8th of next month. So registration is still ongoing. Now let's get into, I think we are going to look at the technical side, not the soft skills. That was a little typo. So for the technical, describe your experience with incident response. So with this, no, before we go on, Daniel, please go ahead.
Yeah, just a quick one. On the back of the programs you just talked about now, I got an email that says the end date is 2024. Now, does that stand? Because I got another email that says 5 hours to the close of the whole thing. So it's a bit.
No, I think like that was like the automated system just acting up.
Okay,
like the
so,
discount ends on the 24th.
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so AI also sometimes they hallucinate. All right. All right. So for
Hello, Doc.
and for everyone,
Hello, Doc.
we have the Val's Day promotion. It ends on the 24th. 20%
Yeah,
off ends on the 24th. Yes, kindly go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Doc.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the discount. I want to ask a question. I want to do the beginners program. I haven't been in cybersecurity before. This is my first time. We've spoken about this a lot of times during my personal meetings with you. So, but I want to ask, with the discount now, the VAR discount going on, which ends on the 24th, the price comes down to 4,400. But I want to take the option of paying monthly, for 8 months, giving my cash flow, my current cash flow. So I want to ask, the discount, will it still apply? I would want it to apply, even if I'm going to pay over 8 months. So how do I go about it?
Yeah, so the promotions are for one-time payment only.
Oh,
right?
For one-time payment only?
Yes. The discount for installment payment is there's no interest.
Okay.
So that is the discount.
Okay, so nothing changes if I want to pay over 8 months. Nothing changes.
Yeah,
right?
so if you want to pay over 8 months, it's the same amount that you're going to pay, but then there's no interest.
Okay.
So you are spreading the whole entire amount over 8 months.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
All right. Abraham, please go ahead.
Thank you.
Abraham, please go ahead. You are muted if you're trying to speak. Oh, still muted. All right, so we are going to move on. When you are able to unmute, kindly let me know. So describe your experience with incident response. What are they really looking at? This is pretty straightforward. What have you done in incident response? Yes, kindly go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, Doc. I actually decided to go for the 8 times payment for the installment. But later on, I realized that since I could not benefit from the discount, I want to revert to paying at once.
Okay.
Even though I have already paid once, can that be possible?
Yes. So they'll just take that out of the total, and then they'll send you a link for you to make that one-time payment.
Yes, I want that to be effective. I want that one to be done for me. So,
okay.
Doc, I want you to start that with me.
Yeah. So shoot
so
an
I can
email
go and pay the.
Yeah, shoot an email to David at Eretmis. He will take care of you.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. So we are going to move on. So this is pretty straightforward. Your experience with incident response. Now, this is where, if you've actually worked on projects, it is going to save you a lot of headache and time, right? If you've just read about incident response or somebody taught you incident response, then they show you the steps, identifying or doing your identification and detection, and then containment and eradication, and then moving into recovery and lessons learned. Yes, these steps, they are good. But have you really done an incident response? Have you done tabletop exercises? What are tabletop exercises? What does it entail? Right. So This question, they are not just looking for definition of what an incident response is. They are looking for your experience. What have you actually done? So that is why, I keep saying you have to move from just knowing to doing, right? So you know, and then you have to do. If you know and you don't do, for such questions, you are going to be stuck, right? Because you cannot describe a place you've never been and describe it so well that all they have to do is just ask you one or two questions. And there's no way you would have probably anticipated for such questions. So that would throw you off, right? But if you've actually worked on projects like this, that is not going to throw you off, right? So if you've not worked on projects such as incident response, kindly join the upcoming internship program, and it's going to help you. This is one of the projects that they work on, incident response. We go through the whole entire NIAD for incident response, and they do tabletop exercises as well, right? So situation here, the STAR method, situation, a ransomware attack, encrypted, and encrypted several systems in our network. So the task was, I was part of the team, and the team here is the incident response team that had to contain the attack and restore operations to normal. Now, there are steps in incident response that I just mentioned earlier, and some of which, first you have to identify, make sure it's an incident. Two, you have to contain, make sure it doesn't spread to other places, and then you are going to eradicate. So for the action, I isolated the affected systems, which you have to do, identify the attack vector, and then coordinated with backups to restore data back to. So here, we should also talk about, aside isolation, you should totally eradicate the problem before you move into installing backup. Now, results, operations were fully restored within 48 hours with minimal data loss, which is a good result, right? So if you've not really experienced a real incident in your organization, which you can be in cybersecurity for 10 years and not experience this in your company. But what you experience is, if you're part of the incident response team, they are constantly conducting tabletop exercises where they go through different scenarios. They do walkthroughs, they do practice. Sometimes they even do real world practice. So midnight, they will get a call or something of that nature. This person will call that person. They will do the whole entire as if an incident has actually happened. And that is just to see how robust their, incident response team and their program is, right? So if you've never had an incident response, if you never had an incident in your organization, you can talk about your incident response tabletop exercises and how you went about it, and how you go through and how often you do it to solve issues and problems to prepare yourself for actual incidents in real time, right? So the next question, have you ever conducted a security assessment for third-party vendors? What are they like? What are we really looking at for this question? Have you ever conducted a security assessment for a third-party vendor? What is the goal of this one? Anyone?
Is third-party risk assessment.
Yes. So how do you go about this? What is a good way of, actually going through and answering this question? Ian, please go ahead.
Maybe essentially talk about your experiences with interacting with this vendor, because seems especially important because they also want to see how well you can interact with other companies. Like if you can make a good impression for these vendors, so they can continue their partnership with the company you're working for. Essentially, if you explain a positive experience, then they'll be more than likely to pick you to actually interact with other companies.
Okay. So I think Geoffrey, you answered already. Abraham, please go ahead. Or your hand was from previous. Okay.
Can I talk?
Yes, kindly go ahead.
Okay, so you are looking at the security posture of the third parties you are working with, because the third parties that you are working with, they might be assessing your systems and coming in with some risks. So you'd want to find out the risks that they are coming on board, whether it's something that you can contain or not.
Okay. Okay. And I think for everybody on here who's gone through the internship, this is an easy one, right? Because you've actually gone through and done a full-blown third-party risk assessment on 2 companies, right? Now, they want to know, have you ever conducted a security assessment on a third-party company or on the third-party company? Now, they want to know your understanding of why we even do third-party and what are the steps and how do you go about doing it, right? So it's not just about defining or talking about or giving like a theoretical perspective of third party assessments, right? And if you've not actually done this, it's a bit hard to really appreciate what we do for third party risk assessments. You can read about it and know about it, but really to really embody it and to talk about it, it becomes a situation. Now for third party, we do it simply by ensuring that the resources that your company is going to be sharing with another company, that company is at the same level of security hygiene or even above your company's security hygiene, right? Simply, that is why we do it. Now, the details of how we do it and everything that we look at, we can dive more into it. But let's look at how this was answered. So a third-party vendor was integrating with our systems, and the security assessment was required. Now, our task was I needed to ensure their practices align with our security standards. The action was that I reviewed their security policies, conducted a vulnerability scan. So this, I think, last time we looked at similar question. You are going to look at their vulnerability scan reports or other compliance reports that they might have. You are not going to do the scan yourself, right? You can't just go scan somebody's systems. So although this is there, kindly take note that this is not a practice that we really do, and nobody's going to just have you come and scan their systems. And for all the third parties that you are working with, if you have to go scan everybody's system, then that is like a full-blown, role for somebody else to do, right? So you are looking at, for third party, you are looking at their security compliance reports, their or audit reports, their vulnerability, even for vulnerability scans. Most companies wouldn't even hand you that together with their pen test, but you can see their policies and others because those are sensitive documents that they are not going to give to you. But if you really have to see these, you have to sign non-disclosure agreements and others. Right now, the vendor implemented. So for the results, the vendor implemented the recommendations, and we approved the integration. Right. So you are just simply assessing. It's like conducting risk assessment on your company. You do a similar one, but in this case, you are not within the company, so you can't do the scans. You can't do that. You're just assessing what a third-party independent assessor has given you, right? Has given them, and they are giving that back to you, right? So this is how to answer this question. Now, the next question: have you used SIM tools to monitor threats? What are we really looking at here? Anyone? It sounds a bit straightforward, but what, Ian, please go ahead. Ian.
If I remember correctly, SIEM is like security information. I can't quite remember. It's essentially a sort of a monitoring tool that's like compiles like all sorts of security data reports and everything. And it's essentially asking you how familiar you are with tools like those.
Yes. So, one, what is your understanding of SIM tools? So this is not where to ask, please, what is a SIM, right? Or what is a SIM tool?
Oh, I think
Right.
I remember now. It's the security information and event management tool. Okay. It's essentially an information aggregation tool.
Okay.
For
So
all
what are
sorts of
some of the
reports
vendors?
and
Like, what are some of the brand names and SIM tools?
Splunk.
So let me just jump on here before, I mean, those who know this. So if you've just studied cybersecurity, you just read about SIM tools, chances are you are not going to run into any of the actual vendors or actual, like there's, because SIM tool is a category. Now, if you just know them and you read about them, when we ask you the follow-up question, like, what are some of the SIM tools that you know? Now you are scratching your head like, okay, so I didn't really look that up, right? So, but Splunk, somebody can easily say Splunk, as a Splunk, like, what are some of the other brand names out there?
Curator.
Curator, yes.
Datadog. Splunk, Microsoft Sentinel.
Yes.
Datadog.
Say that again, please.
Datadog.
Okay, yes. And there is a whole list of them, right? RSA Archer, and the list goes on, right? Some very popular, others, just came up. So every day there are new tools that are coming up. But at least if you know some of the popular ones, that is good. Now, knowing them alone is not going to help you because at least, and most of these, they have some free versions that you can also practice with. So get your hands dirty. If you do the entry level, the tools session, you are going to work with SIM tools also as well, right? Together with other tools. So you have that exposure already. Now, this is not a yes or no answer. You should also go with the star method as well. So situation, you use a SIM tool to monitor our network, but you should, mention the name of the SIM tool. Your role was to identify and escalate any threats that were detected. The action you took, you configured the alerts, analyzed event logs, and created custom dashboards for real-time monitoring, right? And then identified and mitigated multiple phishing attempts and unauthorized login attempts, right? And so this you can also qualify it. So how many, phishing attempts did you see? How many unauthorized logins did you see? And how well did that contribute to the overall health of your security for your company, right? But all these answers are kind of generic, so you can add more to it as needed. Now, can you describe a time you improved a security process? What are they looking at here? And this is a technical question, right? What do you think they are looking for? Anyone? Improved
are they
security
looking?
process.
No,
Yes, go ahead,
sorry.
please.
I think this has to do with continuous monitoring and improving of processes.
Okay. Mike, kindly go ahead.
This could be for being a problem solver and also being innovative because we improve processes, for example, through automations, or streamlining processes. So that's like they're looking for your innovation and problem solving skills.
Okay. Okay. So I think we are going to move a bit faster here. No. Okay. So our situation, our vulnerability management process lacked clear prioritization, which is a good example. I was tasked to optimize the process. Now the action was I introduced a risk-based approach using CVSS score and business impact analysis. And then the results, remediation efforts became more efficient, reducing the average time to patch by 30%, which, for results, it should be quantifiable. So this is a really good example. right? Now, I think we have 2 more questions, I think, or a little bit more than that, but we are about wrapping up. So let's look at the last one, and then we will use that to wrap up. So explain how you handle the false positive from a security tool. How the next question is, what is a false positive if you don't know? What is a false positive? Ian, please go ahead.
False positive is essentially like whenever a security raises an alert for an attack that doesn't exist, it essentially made a mistake, saying that there is an attack when in reality there isn't one.
Okay, yes. Andy, please go ahead.
It's the same thing that he said as getting an alert that there's an incident, something happening, which in actual fact is not.
Okay, yes. So if there was one like that within your organization, how would you handle it? Or if you've had one, how did you handle it in the past? Right. So this is what it is really. It is one, you're testing your understanding of what a false positive is in the first place, and then how did you handle a false positive, or how should a false positive be handled? Right. So situation, our IDS intrusion detection system flagged a legitimate application update as malicious, which was a false positive because it's legitimate, right? Now the tax, I needed to determine whether it was a true threat or a false positive, right? Now the action was I cross-referenced the alert with threat intelligence sources and conducted a deeper analysis of the update. After verifying its legitimacy, I adjusted the IDS rule to prevent future false positives. Now the results, the issue was resolved without disrupting the application, and systems alert and system alerts accuracy improved, right? So I think there is some muting to do. That was why I got distracted. All right, so this is also a very good example, and this will be our last example, I think, before we wrap up. That should be it. No, there was like just 2 more, but I think we are in a good position. Everybody gets the trend in terms of the STAR method, right? So there are just 2 more questions that we missed, which we can post in the chat for everybody to have a look at. Now we are wrapping up. All our details are in the chat. If you are looking to get any of our links, they are in the chat, and links for appointment and everything is in there as well. Hopefully this has been a good learning experience for everyone. There were some, I think, yeah, Jeffrey, we will get with you here shortly. So running down on our AI governance program, if you're looking to get into the AI space, we encourage you to get into our AI governance program. And for cloud security, everybody should be in cloud security. You are going to learn a lot to improve upon your skill set as a security professional. And then for folks looking to branch into the cybersecurity space, do not go take RMF or GRC courses to break into cybersecurity. Go through the fundamentals, the basics, build your way all the way up, intermediate level, and then jump into doing projects, right? Any other route, somebody just teaching you third party from the get-go, that is not really going to help. You have to make sure you have a solid foundation in the security space to be able to excel in any part of security, right? And the entry level is going to help you do that. Now, for folks looking to specialize in a niche, one of the most arguably lucrative niche in the security space, for our students, our highest paying students are from our payment security compliance program, right? And then for internship, next internship is starting on the 8th. It was the 1st, but we've moved that to the 8th. So kindly be on the lookout for that. And for if you are looking to get your hands dirty working on real world projects. So for the technical questions that we are looking at, if you've really not worked on any project, it's really hard to go around those ones. And even if you scale the interview and you get a job, you cannot talk your way out of it. You have to actually do it, right? So get into the internship, learn how these projects are done, actually do the projects, and that is going to set you apart from everybody else who is looking for the same role, right? And for our WhatsApp chat, the link has been posted, so you can use that link to join. And for our YouTube, we encourage you to jump onto our YouTube and watch all our previous cyber chats on there. And for questions, we are open for questions now. We are wrapping up. For links to be able to make appointments and to talk to myself and other folks at the Eretmis Academy, we've posted that also as well, right? So we are wrapping up for tonight. For the shout-outs, I think we can do a couple. There's a lot of team lives. So we have George from Ghana. We have SU from Charlotte, North Carolina. We have Glenda from Louisiana, Adwa, New Jersey, and then some team lives in there. Isaac, New Jersey. We have Fred. Okay, so there are some. And okay, Jacqueline from Texas, Houston, Texas. Okay, and some other team lives in there, team live. So we appreciate everybody's time. We're not going to take. We wanted to make it exactly 2 hours tonight. So appreciate everybody's time. Have a great and wonderful rest of the week. For the weekend and the upcoming week, we encourage you to join us tomorrow to celebrate our interns. There's a lot of hard work that they put into this, and come hear their story, how they went through, from the beginning to the end, what this program has really, turned them into. So we encourage you to join us. We invite you to be our guest tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern to celebrate our interns. Appreciate everybody's time. Have a great and wonderful weekend. Stay blessed. Stay safe. We are going to meet same time next week for another edition of Eretmis Cyber Chat. And you are definitely going to get something new for your toolbox. Have a great and wonderful weekend, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care.
Same to
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.